This right here was made through my blood, sweat, and tears. JK, not really. But I did put in a lot of hours and thoughts into it, and I sent it over to AOMG back in mid-January. And you know, like, after weeks and weeks of waiting, AOMG finally got back to me and said, What's up guys, it's your boy Juan here. So for those of you guys who watched my last video, you guys know that I sent the legit business proposal to AOMG Music, and in this video, I'm gonna talk about my proposal to them. I'm a bit nervous since this is the first time revealing my semi-professional work to the public, and also since I know that some or many of you may not agree with the stuff I have in my proposal. Now, I know I'm a small-time YouTuber, but as someone who believes in K-Hip-Hop's potential to go global scale, I wanted to share with you guys what I had envisioned, as well as how I think we can make this happen. The video might be a little longer than usual, and yes, it might be a bit too businessy, but don't take it too seriously as this was just my personal thing. And yeah, let's get right to it.
Hit that subscribe button, please.
Okay, so the story begins after I finished working with Highlight Music to create Yoonbi's interview videos, and at this point, I've met a handful of Korean rappers along with few people in the industry, and I'm thinking, damn, it's gonna take a long time to grow this thing if I just work with one artist at a time. I'm a small guy with big dreams, so I thought in order to really grow K-Hip-Hop more globally within a reasonable span of time, I had to get in contact with the best of best in the industry, and as we all know, that was AOMG Music. Now, if this was like any other time, I never would have had a chance getting in touch with AOMG, but because of Corona, the music industry was struggling, and even DJ Pumpkin, the CEO of AOMG Music, said in an interview that their business was struggling. So yeah, I thought maybe I might have a chance. According to CJENM's annual financial report, AOMG's revenue was around $11 million in 2018, $12.5 US in 2019, and a lot less than that in 2020. Now, $11 to $12 million is a lot of money, but when you consider that this is the annual revenue of the largest hip-hop label in Korea with big-name artists like Jay, Simon D, Gray, and Code Kunst under it, it's not as substantial as you imagined. Yes, AOMG Music is an artist-focused label who seeks out for the best interest of their artists rather than money, but they are still a business at the end of the day. So with struggling revenue stream and murky outlooks due to Corona, I thought they just might hear me out. So with my years of experiences in the corporate world, as well as my passion for K-Hip-Hop, I started creating a proposal for them, and this is how it goes. First, I started off by stating what's going on in the music industry after COVID-19 happened and summarize the global trend. In order for me to explain this, you have to know that the music industry has two types of main revenue streams, and they are revenues from live music and revenues from recording music. According to BBC, about 85% of the revenue from live music decreased in 2020 as all the concerts, festivals, and shows were cancelled, and this is still the case in 2021. Now, giant entertainment companies like Big Hit, SM, and JYP still makes good money through online concerts and merch, etc. But small to mid-sized entertainment companies are struggling as they have a tendency of relying on revenues from live music since their fandom isn't as large or loyal like the mega entertainment companies. Like, no one exactly knows when Corona will end and when these big shows and festivals could start again, so it leaves the small to mid-sized entertainment companies in a very tough spot, you know? With that being said, what can they do? Well, that's where my second point comes in. This is why K-Hip-Hop needs to focus on globalizing. So I know K-Pop and K-Hip-Hop are very different, but when talking about going global scale, I believe they're in the same boat. A lot of international K-Hip-Hop fans come through K-Pop, and K-Pop is doing something right because they're becoming a worldwide phenomenon. And when talking about K-Pop, I gotta use Big Hit Entertainment, aka the BTS company, as an example. In 2019, Big Hit Entertainment made $530 million in revenue which is a bit less than SM, but Big Hit Entertainment's operating profit in 2019 was actually larger than SM, YG, and JYP all put together. That's just wild. I'm sure there's many reasons behind this crazy fact, but based on these two graphs, we can see that most of Big Hit's revenue used to come from Korea in 2017, but by 2019, most of their revenue was being made internationally outside of Korea, which drastically helped with their growth in revenue and profit. So that's one reason why globalization is a key factor, and another fact is, after 9 seasons of Show Me the Money, the hip-hop market in Korea is at a maturity stage, and with all the festivals and concerts being cancelled, the only way for Korean hip-hop labels to sustain their business or even go larger than they are right now is by globalizing at this point. Which brings me to my third point: how do we go global when all the shows and world tours are cancelled? Well, this was the backbone of my proposition, so I can't disclose every detail, but let me still go over the gist of it. AOMG Higher Music already has numerous communication channels, which is great, but my proposition was that they needed to centralize the global fan base to a specific channel and increase their engagement through a series of curated contents. If there's one thing I've learned while running my small YouTube channel in the past 2 years, it's that global K-hip-hop fans don't have much content or sources dedicated for them to be more engaged with these K-hip-hop labels and artists. K-pop companies tend to do a better job of this, as they have trained idols with sufficient funding to create concentrated contents for their fans, but for us K-hip-hop fans, all we have is Show Me the Money and High School Rapper, which is very seasonal and not really label focused. I know I'm keep bringing that up, but BTS was not the most prominent and favorite idol group from the start. Through consistent communication with their fans, along with unique series of contents and great music, BTS built a small but dedicated fan base around the world, and that's what grew to become today's BTS syndrome. I'm not saying AOMG Higher Music or K-hip-hop will be the next BTS, but I firmly do believe that these artists have the musical talents and the skill sets that can go worldwide. If K-hip-hop labels can communicate with their global fans more consistently through a curated series of contents and a targeted channel, then I firmly believe they can establish more loyal and dedicated fan base around the globe, which will be the beginning of the bigger picture. I also had this whole other section about how we can diversify the revenue stream with these content series through IPs and story-based merchandise, but that's another side of my proposition, which I won't really get into here. Anyways, that was like a super compressed version of my proposal, and I'm just saying, with all the world tours and festivals being pushed out indefinitely, it'd be awesome if a label like AOMG Higher Music can create curated series of contents to communicate more with the global fans while keeping their engagements up, and really just provide that converging entertainment experience we're all looking for. I believe the global K-hip-hop fans should not be neglected any longer, and if some of these K-pop labels can start focusing more on the international audience, then it'll be like planting a seed with infinite potentials for the future. So yeah, that was the soul of my proposal, and my bad if it was too wordy. Anyways, I wasn't able to send this directly to Jay, but I was thankfully able to send it to an executive of AOMG Records through my connections in Korea. And after weeks and weeks of waiting, I finally heard back from AOMG, and I was kind of shocked when I heard this, but they said, "Who is this guy?"